Hey everybody, I have a surprise for you today. It's probably going to come as a little bit of a shock to most of you out there, but I have been rethinking my planner wallet combination. You guys know how much I love my traveler's notebook. I've been using that now for a year and almost 3 months, which in the planner world is like crazy, ridiculous long amount of time. And you know how much I love it. I have done plenty of videos about it. And so what I want to talk to you today is I want to go through my thought process on this and kind of the past, the present, and the future, and just tell you what I'm thinking, how I arrived at my decision, and I'm actually going to do the unboxing of the new product that I bought. I've never done an unboxing before. Like last year, I did show you my Hobonichi order as an unboxing, but I'd already looked at it. This is something I have not even seen. It came and it has been sitting over the weekend. I had an incredibly busy weekend. It's been sitting there staring at me, mocking me, but I thought it would be fun to have my first reactions and film that. And then I want to hopefully do a little bit of a preliminary setup on this and just kind of like walk you through the entire thing. So little backstory, this right here is just an old Target wallet. I've showed this before. I used this several years ago for a few years, and this was basically my perfect wallet setup where it had two different sections here. So I've had my receipts in here. As you can see, these are some old cash envelope wallet dividers that I just have stored in here. And then I had my little zipper pocket for when I put my coins in there. I don't keep coins in there, but it's nice to have that little zipper pocket. And then back here I had, of course, my cards that I would hold. And then just back here was another little pocket where I just kept, little random stuff. If I had tickets going to a concert or something like that, I would just kind of keep all that stuff in here. And it was just perfect, very slimlined. And I love that it had the zip around. This is just your basic woman's wallet. I think this is a pretty basic setup, but it just wasn't too much. So sometimes you get, 30 card slots or something like that. So for me, this was just the perfect wallet, perfect setup. So I used this for quite a while. And then I figured that what was missing was I wanted or needed to carry some kind of an agenda or a calendar or a planner. And so that's how I eventually moved all of my wallet into the traveler's notebook. And I just did my recent setup video on my 1 year here and how much I love that. So I figured out everything that I needed to carry and combine it all in one place. And this year especially, I've used it now 6 months out of this year, my traveler's notebook. I don't want to say it was becoming annoying because that's not the right word at all. I think the word is I was just becoming more aware of that I wanted something a little bit more with my traveler's notebook. And I think the main thing that was missing was the zip around, the 3/4 zip around. I just love this. I feel like I'm cheating on a boyfriend or something. Like, it's not you, it's me. But it really is, that was really the main thing that was bothering me as I was carrying this around. It's just sometimes some receipts would fall out of here once in a while. I mean, not all the time. And with my cash right here, even though it has a zipper pocket, I did feel like it was a little bit more exposed than I wanted it to be. I never, of course, lost any cash or anything like that, but it just did not feel as secure and private as I wanted it to be. I also, as much as I love the traveler's notebook, I was feeling like, with papers hanging out, receipts hanging out up here, it just wasn't as maybe professional looking or streamlined or neat as I wanted it to be. So those were just kind of my thoughts that I've just had for, as I mentioned, many, many months now. But of course, I'm like, I love this thing. I don't want, why fix something that's not broken? It's not broken. I just feel like there's something more out there. So those were my thoughts going into this. So I have done my research. I'm sure you guys are not surprised by that. So I want to move these things a little bit out of the way and show you my thought process here. I think this is something that is not talked about hardly at all, especially just thinking through a purchase as well as the budget and just all of the different aspects. And I'm preaching to the choir here, myself as well, because I feel like this is a huge step that sometimes gets overlooked. So I want to show you what I have done with this and what I usually do. And I'm going to start right here. This is my top-down planner. Side note, this is the little pen loop that broke off, by the way, in my other video that I talked about. So what I started doing was brainstorming the things that I really, really wanted with my on-the-go planner wallet combination. Some things I was already completely set on, and then other things I added as it just came up as I was doing some research. So as you can see, which I don't know if you can see, so I'm going to read this. So I definitely wanted it to be the personal compact size, which is this size right here. As you can see, my wallet is just a little bit, oh goodness, it's probably, you know, 1/8 of an inch shorter on the height and maybe a 1/2 inch or so on the width. So just, you know, something about this size. It didn't have to be perfect dimensions, but just something, these were both perfect. And with the wallet, of course, and the traveler's notebook is, I would say, maybe double the width, but still it fits in my hand. So I knew that was a comfortable size for me. I wanted it to fit the Hobonichi Weeks. I knew that the Weeks, which I'm going to show you, the Weeks is my perfect on-the-go planner, which is right here. I know without any doubt in my mind that I'm going to stick with this. I don't foresee me ever, and I know, you know, never say never, but I don't foresee me ever not carrying this as my on-the-go planner. It's just so perfect with the half pages, or half the notebook is the planner pages and half are the note pages. I mean, that's exactly what I need, and it's very super streamlined. You know, all of that fits in right here, which is, you know, maybe 1/2 inch, maybe. So I knew that was perfect. So it had to fit the Hobonichi Weeks. It had to slip in just like this. It had to slip in, and it had to open up all the way like this does, like a book style. Whereas that was my big problem right here, and I actually tried to fit it in here. My Hobonichi Weeks, which I'll actually take that out and show you. The Hobonichi Weeks does fit in here. And without the pen loop, and obviously without the pen, you could probably, you know, super squish it down and get it in there. It does fit in there. However, to use it, you have to pull it out, and that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to be able to open it up like this and be able to use it. And the other thing with the ladies' wallets, they're, like I said, it's a perfect setup, but with the gusseted sides here, and it's awesome, so nothing falls out, but it also prevents you from not being able to use your planner. So that was another issue that I wanted to be able to overcome, was just have the open book style like that. So no restraints as far as, you know, opening it up. It had, of course, zip around all the way, and super sturdy zipper pull. I love this thing. As you can see, it's long, it's metal. I've never had problems with this, never had problems with it zipping. Of course, it won't right now because I've got my Hobonichi in there, but love this thing. So metal zipper. It needed to be leather or durable stain-resistant type of fabric. I'm a klutz, and, you know, with it going in and out of a bag or a backpack, it just has to be really, really durable. So I'm not super set on leather. I love leather just for the durability factor, honestly. It also had to have either my favorite color or just a really beautiful bright color. Like this turquoisey sky blue is one of my favorite colors, which I'll show you my other ones in just a minute. But ultimately, the color of my planner wallet combo needed to make me happy. My go-to as far as leather is concerned is always going to be like this natural type of tan, or even a dark brown, like, actually I have this handy, my Filofax Malden Personal. I tend to go towards the browns instead of the blacks when I'm on the go. I don't know why, I just do. But that's my kind of my basic natural color that I go to. I wanted to have, of course, card slots, and I just brainstorm ideas of what I would keep in the slots, because ultimately, whatever a number of slots that they had, I wasn't going to use all of them with the cards, because I just don't carry that many. I also wanted my weeks on the right side. So this one, just with the way my Baumkuchen is set up here, it opens, it slides in on the right, which is, it's fine, but I like, and I think it's just because it's the way it's set up, I would prefer to have this, look at this, because this is the way it opens up, is from this way, instead of having it open up this way. I don't know, and I kind of thought about it. I don't know if it has to do with that I'm right-handed. I think it's just that all the books open up that way. So you left-handers out there can correct me if I'm wrong. I have two lefties, and I have not seen them, prefer to open it on the opposite way. Anyway, so that was just something, a lot of these are deal breakers and some of those are not. So that wasn't like necessarily deal breaker. I would just prefer it to be on the right-hand side so I could see the front cover and open it that way. And maybe it is because I am right-handed that and with the way that these weeks are set up, like I do most of my writing on the right-hand side. Anyway, I'm just, like I said, thinking out loud here. I obviously wanted a separate place for my receipts and my cash envelopes. I don't like those together. I don't like all the receipts and the cash in here. It's just too much for my brain. I can't handle it. If I do have some coupons, the same thing. I would put it back here because I mentioned I don't carry a lot of coupons. And so I like to have all of those things segregated. I also prefer my pen loop on the right side, and I think that goes again back to when you're closing it this way. I don't see that anybody ever closes it, has it open like this and closes it that way. Maybe again, that's because I'm right-handed, but I want to have my pen loop here. I don't want my pen traveling this way. I know that probably sounds super weird, but I want my pen to be stable and then actually just move the cover instead of having the cover and the pen loop moving. I wanted also enough room for the pen. So as you could see in here, if I had a pen in there, I could probably not have that pen right here stored on my weeks, but I would prefer to have it that way. So of course I could just stick a pen down here at the bottom, but of course there are other issues with this. And then I also needed to carry around a few pages of note paper, so just some space for that somewhere. I probably, if I was just only using this, would probably put it back here with, my very few random coupons and tickets sometimes. I also wanted it, like I mentioned, to just be really streamlined and neat and tidy and efficient looking. If I did need to go somewhere where I needed it to be professional, this is awesome for, it's just like a well-loved friend, but this is not necessarily something that I would feel comfortable with at an office. And I know that there are plenty of, just stunning and gorgeous traveler's notebooks out there and planners in general, obviously, like a Giglio, that are just gorgeous, but I'll get into the other reasons why I didn't choose those later. But basically, it was just not really what I was looking for. I wanted an outside pocket. This is another thing with this particular wallet. It didn't have an outside pocket, which I would prefer that. Whether you want to put your phone in there or sticky notes, notepads, anything like that. Or if you're in a hurry where you could just, quickly stuff some receipts. And I also, which you probably can't see, but I set the smile version. So there's pockets that are just straight across. I know the Malden pocket wallet or something, I can't remember what the word is, but it has a straight across one, which is completely fine. Like I do want a pocket, but there are also ones that curve down and they always just look like a smile to me and always make me happy. I don't know why, but they just do. So if possible, I wanted a smile pocket on the outside. And I also only wanted one zip only to access it. So this one, as you can see, is one zip. They also had some double-decker ones, I guess you should call them double-decker wallet types of things or planners. I don't want to have to open up two different zippers to get in and access my things inside. I just want one access and then all of a sudden there it is. Everything's there at my fingertips. When I was using this, I, for the most part, did not zip up the coins when I would throw them in because I knew they were going to be secure when I zipped this up. And then I didn't keep them in there, so I would just come home and just throw them in my coin jar. The other thing is I did like a gusseted cash and receipt area, so I do like this. It works out really well for my financial section, but I wanted this to be, like I said, separate so I could, this is awesome for the finance part, but I wanted the planner part to be able to open up all the way like this. And I preferred my cards on the left-hand side. I think it just goes back to, the way that the planners usually open up from the right and do most of the writing on the right-hand side in the weeks. Removable rings or easy to do ring if necessary, and that's because I knew I was getting into that planner line where a lot of them would have rings in there. And I also, if they could, I would prefer an ID card slot. You guys know I hate flashing my Sam's card, so I actually put my family photo in there. My Sam's card, I just hate flashing that thing, so I wanted that to be, if possible, easy to access, easy to show, relatively inexpensive. You guys know I'm very cognizant of cost, or it was a good value. I'm not opposed to spending money on things, but it has to be a good reason to spend money on it. And I kind of have a rule of thumb here. For instance, if something costs, let's do pens, because you guys know I love pens. So if you can get a really good pen for like $5, and then you have a pen that costs $20, is the $20 pen 4 times as much as, or better, or more awesome than the $5 pen? That's just a question you have to constantly ask yourself. Sometimes the answer is yes, and so that's why I end up buying more expensive things. But obviously, a lot of times the answer is going to be no, and so it's just the thought process that I go through there. So it just needs to be on the less expensive side. Like I mentioned the Gillios, gorgeous planners, but they're over $200. Some are up to $300. Are they really 6 times better than other planners out there on the market? I don't know. For me, the answer is no, and so I can't tell you that specific answer as far as comparing the two. But for me, the answer has always been with a Gillio no, because I don't see it that's just a personal preference of mine. So it just needs to be relatively expensive and a good value. And then the cover, back to the color, I wanted it to be not too light, because there are some gorgeous ones out there that I saw which were like pastel colors. But I'm super hard on things. I don't baby anything, especially throwing it in and out of a bag. I don't want it to show stains. I mean, I'm not carrying like tons of like juice or food around, but things just get pen marks or something on it. So I didn't want it to be too light to show stains, and then too dark, because when you get something like black, it just shows lint a lot more. So anyway, those were all of my kind of brainstorming things on why I was thinking I wanted a new planner and wallet combo. So there you go. Now I'm going to show you my super messy notes, because I was literally like watching videos or looking at websites and scribbling. Sometimes I wasn't even looking at the page. So it's a mess here, but as you can, hopefully you can see, I narrowed it down to 6 different ones. So they're kind of like outlined in a rectangle here. So 4 on this side, 2 on this side. There's a space here because I actually turned over my planner and was writing like that. So on this side, you got to stick with one of the oldest companies in the book that they know what they're doing. They've been around for that long, and that's Filofax. And I had a Saffiano, Lockwood, a Pennybridge, and the Malden large zipped purse. And then the other 2 that I found were both for me on Amazon. And pretty much what you're looking for here is it's going to be a ladies checkbook organizer, because I do have men's that are smaller than ladies. So ladies checkbook organizer, and it's a zip. So they do have checkbook organizers, but they're not zipped. So you're looking for those keywords there: ladies, checkbook, and zip. So I found these 2, and I'm going to try and go through these fairly briefly. So what I did is each one came in certain colors. So I wrote down the colors, and then I put a star on which was my personal favorite color. Then I had an asterisk on what fabric it was made of or material. And then if I could, I put like what was on the left-hand side, the setup, and then what was on the right-hand side. And then the EXT is what was on the exterior. So basically I was looking for, did it have a pocket? That kind of a thing. And then I did put all of the sizes on here. So of course I had to convert most of them from millimeters to inches, because Americans have to do things the crazy way. So and really what I was looking for here is the dimensions of the weeks, which is right here. Obviously, if you're going to be in this size, I was just double checking that they were all going to fit. And then here are my favorite colors, if you guys don't know. So basically a really nice deep true red, a sky blue or a turquoise, and I probably haven't mentioned this, but another one is the sapphire blue. So those are my 3 go-to colors, besides the the basic, like these, the darker brown, and then something like this, the camel color, which are my neutrals. Those are always going to be my go-tos, whatever I'm looking for: pens, purses, planners, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be my go-to. So I'm just going to briefly compare these. So the Saffiano, the setup was awesome. The price was great. It retails for 38 pounds, which is $54, but on Amazon I found it for 34. Of course, the dimensions were great. The rings were smaller. So the Saffiano and the Pennybridge both had 15 millimeter rings, and the Lockwood and the Malden both had 26 millimeter rings. Actually, this one's 23, which is close. So these two had larger rings. Not necessarily what I was looking for, but not a deal breaker for sure. And then these two over here, the checkbook organizers, did not have rings because you're just, with a checkbook, you're just sliding that in. So that was a good thing. Then with the Saffiano, I starred this because it has the pull-out rings, which is great. I think that's why a lot of people use this as a planner wallet combo. This is probably the most popular one, the Saffiano, and I would have to say raspberry. The raspberry Saffiano, all over YouTube. I found so many videos about those, but all the other ones I had a really hard time finding information about. The Lockwood, so Saffiano is poppy pear, aquamarine, and raspberry, so kind of those more popular, brighter colors. The Lockwood only had the garnet and cognac and leather, so I prefer the brown, the cognac. And this was, of course, since it's leather, going to be a lot more expensive, so it ended up being like $114. And you know, everything is pretty much good here. The other, back to the Saffiano, the other thing is it's on the right hand, it has this really kind of weird elastic pocket. Anyway, that was just something I was like, I don't know how that's going to work for me. So the Pennybridge, the colors are cobalt blue, black, purple, and raspberry. So raspberry seems to be a very popular color with Filofax. All of the setup was really good. The rings were good. These were permanent. The Saffiano was the only one that had the versatile ones where it was, you could pull them out. These all other ones were permanent rings in here. And then this one was also really relatively inexpensive, 36 pounds, which I actually found it for $39 on Amazon for the price there. Now the Filofax Malden used to have, and I'm gonna look down here, it used to be called the Zip Compact Organizer, which was really great. I love the setup, and I would love to have kind of a matching set with this, but they don't, I don't know if they discontinued it or just kind of moved it in and upgraded it to this, but they're now calling it a Filofax, it's still a Malden, but it's a large zipped purse. And the colors are only ochre and the purple. Leather, of course. It got a really, really nice setup, of course, the bigger rings, but here, which was a negative for me, it had a straight pocket instead of the smile pocket. And this did not have any rings in it, which was super, super great, but there was no pen loop, so that was kind of a drawback there. How it used to be was a perfect setup. It had a pen loop on it. The issue I had with the Malden was that you could only find it on Filofax UK. Of course, since it's leather, it's more expensive, so it says about $76, which is that's not a terrible price, but with the shipping and everything else, the shipping was another 50 something, so it really would have cost me about $135 by the time I ordered everything and, you know, paid for shipping. So that was a little bit out of my price range. I wasn't really looking to go for the most expensive thing. The ladies checkbook organizer, it was by Marshall. Beautiful. It was very basic colors because they were leather, so brown, black, tan, and burgundy. So of course I chose the brown. $15.95. I mean, super awesome. The issue here with this one, there was no pen loop. It slid in on the left-hand side, and there were two separate zip compartments, which I didn't want that. And then over here, I could not find anywhere that it gave the dimensions. So I would assume, you know, and if I had to spend $16 and guess, I would say that would probably fit, but since I wasn't guaranteed with the dimensions, I wasn't 100% sure that everything would work with the weeks. And last but not least is Access Denied brand, another leather zip around checkbook wallet. Unique colors here, black, rose quartz, and serenity, but rose quartz is actually a very, very light pink. I'm not a girly girl, but I really was attracted to that light pink over the serenity, which is more of like it wasn't even a light blue, it was like super baby blue. So this is along those lines of, I think it was just going to be too pastel for me to throw in and out of a bag, and I would have to baby this thing, and I didn't want it to. Also, it was not gusseted, and I felt like you could slip it on the right or the left, but there's no outside pocket, no pen loop. So it was, I don't know, I felt like there was not going to be enough room in here for all of my, kind of like this setup. What gusseted means there wasn't this kind of a section where I could have enough for my cash and all of my receipts and everything else that I needed to carry. So anyway, that was my thought process. So now I hope you're ready. You can sit down. Actually, it's not that exciting. It is for me, probably not for you guys. So I just thought it was important to go through this process. I would say I go through this process anything that costs like $20 or more, or if there's just a lot of information. So if I'm looking for pens are not necessarily always expensive, but sometimes I just can't keep all of these kind of details in my brain. So anytime I need to, if there's a lot of details or it has a dollar amount, I will do something like this. And of course, as you can see, I'm trying to use up my note pages. So there you go. Hopefully I have saved somebody the trouble and aggravation of figuring out all the research on all of these and just the different pros and cons here. But those are the different ones. I think I got everything. Let me just double check. But yes, so based on this, I did make a decision. And my decision was I actually went with the Pennybridge. You may have thought I went with the Saffiano. The aquamarine was a really, really, really close second, especially because of the pull-out rings. But ultimately, when I was seeing the aquamarine, I just felt like it was a darker kind of a teal, more of a greenish, darker color. And I don't know, it just did not speak to me. So I went with the Pennybridge and I went with the cobalt blue. So now, let's do a little drum roll in my mind. So here is the box. I have not looked at it, you guys. So I'm excited. Okay, it just came like this. Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm excited. Okay. All right, there it is. So let me take off the plastic. So Filofax, of course. Pennybridge compact organizer. So here's, oh, this is pretty. Oh my gosh, can you see this is pretty true to life for the color. This is gorgeous. It's not really a royal blue and it's not a navy blue. I call it the sapphire blue. I really, really love it. Okay, sorry. I have to gather my thoughts here. So here's the little smile pocket. That makes me super happy. I love that. Okay, let's zip it. I'm not going to, okay. Here we go. All right, it does not open completely flat, so I don't know how I feel about that. It's got a whole bunch. I think it ended up with 18 card slots. This is all fabric in here, gusseted right here, which I like. So this is a perfect setup for all of my cash envelopes and everything else that I need to carry. There is a 1, 2, 3 different slots and a zip slot. So this is perfect. Basically, it's my setup over here with my wallet. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. So it's got this and it's got the rings, as you can see. The 15 millimeter is really, really small. So what my burning question with this, which you guys probably already know, is it slips in on the right-hand side, which is awesome, is does the Weeks fit with the rings and how much do the rings get in the way? So let me do that really quickly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this and end up doing a separate setup video when I get everything exactly how I like it. So this pen loop is probably, this pen loop right here is probably going to get in the way. But let me see. Oh my gosh, look at that, it fits. Okay, I don't know, you guys. I might keep the, oh wow, I might keep the papers in here. Okay, sorry, I'm having a fangirl moment here. This is awesome. This is awesome. Look at that. It's got, I would say, almost an inch between the Weeks. And let's get, here's the pen loop. It's elastic. So where did I have misplaced my pen. There we go. Here's the elastic. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is great. This is great. I might keep the rings. So when I bought this, I was about 95% sure that this was going to work for me. And the 5% that I wasn't sure is the rings. So am I going to have to de-ring it? I know there's plenty of videos, plenty of people have done it. This is actually laying a little bit flatter. So I think I'm just going to, once you work with it, I think it will open up flatter as it goes. This is great, you guys. I'm super, super happy. Okay. Okay. Let's gather my thoughts here. I just showed you my thought process, but you guys know that you really don't know if you love something until you hold it in your hands and start setting everything up. So I'm super happy. This was I knew it was a great decision, but it's even better than I thought because I may not have to de-ring this thing. So that is even better. Oh my goodness. Okay, the other thing I didn't mention was, okay, let's see how the zipper is. So it's got these the bookmarks of the weeks. So it's a little stiff on the zipper. Let's see how this is. I think this is going to be okay. I've just got to play with it a little bit. It's hard on right here. And I think it's the pen loop right there. Yep, it's the pen loop. So I may have to, that's a little bit better. Okay, so a little bit stiff as far as opening it up, a little bit stiff as far as the zipper. I think that's going to work itself out. Okay, so here are the dimensions with my traveler's notebook. It is like it's exact same size, like the exact same size. I think maybe the top is maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch taller, and that's it. The width and the depth are the exact same. So this is perfect. So perfect. Okay, that is super cool. So here's like your standard ladies wallet. Let me do a comparison of that too. So that's kind of the same thing with what I showed you at the beginning with the traveler's notebook. So it's the same size. It's just a little bit wider than a regular ladies notebook there. But look at that. Look at the width. I mean, that's not much. This actually may be, but of course, you know what? I forgot I took my weeks out. So I think this is way more compact because I took my weeks out of this one. So that's great. Okay, so the pocket, I'm going to wrap this up here, but the pocket, you guys know I am trying to use up my weekly booklet here. Let me pull this out. So this was my thought here, is I could put my phone in here if I needed to go somewhere and just want my phone, but I figured I'd keep the weekly booklet right in here so I could still have like everything all together. Okay, I'm excited, super excited. The other thing that I wanted is usually your wallets will have kind of this, I forget what they call them, but you know, the wristlet, that's what it is, the wristlet. So the other thing I was thinking is maybe this one's not gonna match, but maybe that's the other thing is I would love to have the option of just carrying this around, but I think you could attach just a wristlet to that. That doesn't match. Actually, I have okay, this is what I carry. This is what I carry in my purse, as you can see. Yep, sapphire blue. Okay, let me try this one because this one actually works better or matches better. So you could put your phone and have your wristlet, and you could actually attach your keys onto this. I don't know. What do you think? I think that's stunning. I think this is beautiful. I am super, super happy about this, you guys. Super, super happy. Okay, this is the end. I will do a setup video later, but thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I love to see these kinds of process videos here. So anyway, this is my new on-the-go planner, wallet, financial combination, Filofax, Pennybridge. Anyway, I love it. Love it. So thanks for watching, you guys. I will talk to you again soon.